Hey there, I'm Jackie Ferris. This week on the 302, we have our second installment of our point-to-point shows. We're going to take you behind the scenes and show you all of the magical things there are to see and do when you visit Winterthur. Get ready, the 302 is headed to the finish line. Welcome back. What is point to point without a little tailgating and a little celebrity sightseeing? I'm joined now by Drew Tevis. He is the Food Network Holiday Baking Show Season 9 champion and also the champion of so many people's hearts here in Delaware because you are a native, right?
I am. Have been coming to Rehoboth Beach since I was 2 years old. My grandmother bought a house here in the 80s, and it's been my home ever since.
So are you having a good time at Point to Point?
I'm having a great time getting to serve some good food and see all the sights, see the tailgates, watch the race in a little bit. It's been great.
So let's talk a little bit about tailgating. I know you have just judged some expert tailgaters. What have you seen?
Some of the themes are really, really cool, the way they tie everything in. There was a group that did like a sailor's theme and all their outfits were matching. They had little sailor fascinators. Their cups had the emblems on it, like everything all tied in. And then there are some that went all out. There were a couple like odes to the Queen and King, a couple different themes with that. And there was a Mad Hatter Tea Party one that was really cool. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So this is going to air after we announce the winners. Can you tell us which one was the best one in your mind?
So there was a group that went all out with the royal theme. They had menus, everything down to the food was all traditional British things. They had scones, they had tea cakes. They presented us with an official menu with a royal emblem on it. They had dessert actually set up and staged in the trunk of one of the cars. They had the Queen's crown. They had the flag everywhere. It was really, really cool.
So creativity goes a long way.
It really does. It really does.
So what kinds of foods are you seeing? Is there a trend for tailgating?
I feel like this year, because of the coronation, I saw so much like British-themed tea food. There were lots of towers. So I feel like that was the theme this year. I think everybody's in a royal mood right now.
Little tea cakes. You got to hold your pinky out and everything.
I saw lots of teacups out there too.
So you, in addition to being a television celebrity, a celebrity chef, you also work with Sodell Concepts, right?
I do.
For people who don't know, tell us about those folks.
Yeah, so I am the corporate pastry chef for Sodell Concepts. We have over 16 restaurants in southern Delaware, from Lewis to Catch 54. A lot of seafood concepts, but then we also have a Mexican restaurant, an Italian restaurant, a wood fire pizza restaurant, and then we manage the food out at the Baywood Clubhouse, so we do a lot of weddings as well.
Now, whenever the 302 first started, we interviewed your CEO, and this is a company that really believes in its people and really helping them, progress through the company. So it really is kind of a fun place to work.
It really is. It really is. Scott and Mike, our CEO and president, really give back to both us, developing the people we work with, and giving back to the community as well.
So the people that are going to be watching this, they're going to go, okay, I'm a baker, I need tips. What are people come up to you? What's the most request tip that people ask you about?
The first thing people always ask me is like, what's your favorite thing to make?
Which
and
is?
I do a lot of donuts. I love donuts. But I think as far as tips, I think a lot of people are intimidated by cooking and by baking specifically because it can be precise, and you don't need to be. If you just follow a recipe, you can do it.
Sure, the more you make it, the better it gets.
Yes. You might have a few misses in the beginning because it is precise, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too hard.
Mm-hmm. And whenever you're preparing for a tailgate, what advice would you give somebody? So maybe someone sees this and they're like, I'm going to go to Point next year and I'm going to tailgate. What advice would you give them?
I think tying in everything in the little details. That's what it came down to. There were a lot that had big, beautiful flowers or big, elaborate displays, and those caught our eye initially, but then the ones were like when it all came down to the clothing matched, the menu matched, little things they had on the car, little details in their cups, and the things they were serving out of. It was all those little details.
Now, did you eat any of the food?
I didn't eat any of this food. We looked at everything. We didn't sample the food.
So have you been serving food and looking at food, but you haven't eaten anything so far?
Correct.
Oh my goodness. So we're right in front of the Sodell Concepts tent. What's going on in there?
We got a lot of good stuff going on there today. Our chef Doug Ruley, who's our VP of Culinary Operations, it's kind of like his style menu. So we've got curry, chicken salad. We have deviled eggs, his classic deviled egg. We've got a raw bar with oysters. We've got crab claws. We've got smoked salmon. We've got tenderloin. Lots of good things happening in there.
So have you been to Pizza by Elizabeth's?
I have.
Wilmington?
So I have been to the Wilmington one once during the 1 year when they had the Rehoboth location. I think I probably ate there 20 times. I loved when they had the Rehoboth location, and I love their pizza so much.
When I go, I always get the curry chicken salad, and I could never understand why. You know, their whole theme is famous Elizabeth.
Right.
Queen Elizabeth had a curry chicken salad for her coronation luncheon, I read somewhere. So
I did not even realize
that. I'm curious about why, if that was, there was.
I feel like curry is a thing with chicken salad. I feel like next to having like dried fruit and apples, I feel like curry's the next most common flavor you see when someone does their like twist on chicken salad.
Sure.
But I had no idea it had royal connection.
Yeah, seriously. I meant to ask them next time we go in. We go in all the time. We love them there. So what's next for you? What's going on in your world next?
Just gearing up for a busy summer at Sodell. Like it's the beach summer season, so all our restaurants will be busy rocking and rolling. So it'll just be a lot. This is the best time of year when we start being able to get all the best local fruit. So we're on strawberry month right now. So using Pfeiffer and Evans Farm strawberries in all our dishes.
What do you do with strawberries?
All sorts of things. At Blue Coast on the menu, we have a warm cream cheese pound cake that gets served with fresh macerated strawberries and vanilla ice cream. And that's kind of our version of strawberry shortcake. And we do that dish all summer, so it'll roll right into Bennett blueberries and then Bennett peaches when the strawberries are done.
I can't wait. Now, I know you've got to have social media where people can, like, you know, salivate over all of your pictures. Where can people follow you?
I'm on Instagram. I'm at Pastry Chef Drew, and that's DRU.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for chatting with the 302.
It's my pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back.
I'm Christopher Keene. I'm the owner of the Archibald Alexander House, and I love being part of the 302 and having my house part of it as well.
Welcome back. Boy, have I got a bird's eye view of Point to Point. I'm joined by Jonathan Fraser Hunt, and we are on this glorious carriage. So tell me, first of all, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you.
Tell me a little bit about the tradition of carriages, and you have a personal tie to Frolic, right?
Well, Frolic and I were great friends. He was one of my mentors, and I've been doing this for about 30 years now.
Now, tell the folks who Frolic is.
Well, his name was George A. Weymouth, and his middle name was Frolic. And let me just tell you the story about how he got the name Frolic, which is humorous. It was from a DuPont family, and for the first 7 or 8 days, they were trying to figure out what to name George Weymouth. And his brother, who was jealous, said, well, call him after the dog, Frolic. So he became George A. Frolic Weymouth. And that's here we are.
And he loved carriages.
Loved carriages. He loved it. He was, as a young man, a polo player, which is really very difficult. And then he took to driving horses, almost immediately driving 4 horses, and he mostly always drove a very high-stepping, beautiful English horse, a Hackney horse. And my horses are half Hackney and half Clydesdale, and we call them Scottish warmbloods.
They're really beautiful, but there's a lot of history behind the horses. So Frolic started the carriage. Now, they're not races, it's more of a parade.
It's a carriage parade. It's a presentation. This is an English tradition where you would go to the races with your coach, or this is called a roof seat break, and watch the races from your vantage point up here, because you can see everything, and you can have your beverage and your picnic and whatever. Sometimes they would unhitch the horses, but anyway, this is all part of that tradition. And Frolic brought it here to Winterthur.
And he told you got to keep this going.
Absolutely. We were buddies.
What does it take to keep something like this going? Because, I mean, you've got the horses, you've got the equipment.
Right.
How do you maintain this?
It's the spirit inside of yourself and love of the horses. And to have a good wife like Penny and a beautiful coachman, Tammy, and her sister Dina, to keep the horses fit. It's a complete circle.
Family tradition, family,
everything.
and there are a bunch of you guys out here today.
We have 13 or 14 carriages, some driving 4 horses, some driving 2 horses, and some driving 1 horse.
Now, is this the only thing that you guys do, or do you go to other things across the country?
Oh, of course. No, we go all up and down the East Coast. The next big drive is at Devon Horse Show, which is in the end of the month. So, there's lots of things.
What's your season? Like summertime, spring, summertime?
It starts, roughly speaking, from April 30th or May 1st to about October 30th. Maybe a little later.
Now, we have a little cocktail here. Penny, your lovely wife, gave us a cocktail. This is Pimm's, which is also British, right?
Pimm's is a wonderful British drinking beverage, adult beverage, that you mix with fruit, sometimes with ginger ale or lemonade or something, and you can drink it to your heart's content and not getting whacked if you're in the sun.
Well, that's good. Absolutely. So introduce us to the 2 ladies that we have here. What are their jobs? They look like they are in charge.
Well, Tammy is our coachman. She's the person that tells me what to do and which horses are behaving.
Okay.
And Dina is her younger sister, and Dina is the lady with the hostess with the mostest down there. At any rate, they train the horses, they keep them fit and clean everything up, and so, but for them, I couldn't do this. Simple as that.
I bet. Well, you know, they say it takes a village to raise a child.
That's
I would
true.
imagine it takes a village to get the carriages going. So was that just the thing for the race? Are we about to see a race here? Wow, this really is an amazing vantage point.
Well, you really now understand.
I do
I think it's off now.
understand.
But this is now the reason they bought these carriages here. You can sit on top of your carriage or coach
And see
watch
everything.
the races, and then have your friends and your sponsors, whoever it is.
Absolutely.
With us, it's just our friends.
Well,
And get a little buzz on and
well, John, it was really great talking to you. Cheers. Here come the horses.
Right.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Chris Hayden, Director of Facilities here at the Delaware Museum of Nature and Science. And Dude has been here for almost 15 years. And Dude and I enjoy watching the 302 on the weekends.
Welcome back. When you come out to Point, there are a lot of families, so it makes sense that there are a lot of things for families to do. And I'm joined now by Sherry Warsinski, is that right?
That's right.
You're a volunteer with Winterthur.
I am.
So tell me a little bit about, we are on the field of the stick horse racing area, right?
That's exactly right.
So what exactly is stick horse racing?
So stick horse racing is, you've seen them before. Kids have, it's a horse's head on a stick, right?
Okay.
And so it's an activity that can be enjoyed by children from 2
Okay.
up until 10 years old. Now, there's various age groups. There's 3 different age groups
Okay.
that can participate, and they basically get on the stick horse, run up here to the finish line, and the first, second, and third place winners receive a little medal to hang around their neck, right? And they get to keep the stick horses as a souvenir. It's a very popular event. We had so many children do this event that we actually had to widen the
Really?
field so that everybody was able to participate.
That's really cool because a lot of times when you come out to an event like this, you know, kids really want to get involved and they see the horses and they think to themselves, I want to race too. And this is a way to do that.
It is, and kids like to run, and the parents are happy because it gets some of that energy out.
Absolutely.
And, you know, they're cheering on the kids and everybody has a good time. There's always a couple of tears, you know, but for the most part, you know, somebody's horse falls, but for the most part, the kids are super happy and excited. And even when you have a couple of tears, within a minute or two, they have a big smile on their face.
Absolutely, because they get to take home a souvenir of their time here.
Right, right.
Absolutely, and it's something to remember, like making a family memory. So
Yeah,
tell me a
there's
little
so
bit
many
more.
families that come, and it's great how they all kind of coordinate their outfits, and it's so much fun to see all the creativity that they bring to their attire for Point to Point.
Yeah, a lot of people match, a lot of big hats. Even the gentlemen have hats and brightly colored ties. So, I mean, this is such a family-friendly event. Talk to me a little bit about, you know, what are families able to do and, you know, when they come out to Point to Point?
So this is my first time volunteering here, but what I can tell you, in addition to the stick races, there's another tent down here, the Montgomery tent, that does musical chairs for the kids, and whoever wins the musical chairs gets a kazoo. So I've heard some kids with their kazoos walking around here. And I think just the races themselves and the kids seeing the horses and, you know, how big they are and beautiful they are.
Yeah.
I think they really enjoy just seeing the horses race. So there's a lot of different food trucks, a lot of different vendors, you know, run into people you know. So it's fun in so many different ways.
Absolutely. Well, Sherry, thank you so much for sharing all of the family activities with us. Hopefully folks will watch this and they'll come out next year. Maybe you'll be here. We hope so.
I absolutely will be.
All righty. Well, thank you, Sherry.
All right. Thanks so much.
We'll be right back. We hope you're enjoying our show on Point to Point. Here are some other events you might want to check out. Information on Point to Point or any of the programs at Winterthur, just visit winterthur.org. That'll do it for this week's episode of the 302. Make sure you follow us on Facebook to get lots of behind-the-scenes content. We're going to leave you now wrapping up our two-show series with the highs of Winterthur. Until next time, I'm Jackie Ferris. Tell them you saw it on the 302.
Le taureau s'élance à bondissant, hors d'Italie, il s'élance, il entre et frappe, un cheval lourd, entraînant un picador. Après le taureau, hurle la foule, le taureau va, il frappe un coup, en séquoise et ballerine, plein de vieux, il court, le cirque est plein de sang, on se sauve, on franchit les grilles, c'est au tour maintenant, allons, à carrière, allons, allons, songe bien, oui, songe en combattant, que d'un noir te